Shadow from Drs Athletics, and I'm hoping to answer all of your guys' questions for CrossFit testing. So this is what it is. First is you guys are making history because for the first time in Drs Athletics history, we are going to be doing an actual CrossFit testing to place you in different levels according to your fitness and according to different categories that compiled together is going to give you a broad sense of the whole spectrum of fitness. And it was really challenging to pick those 15 tests, but overall by setting them up in categories, we believe that those will actually test your fitness the most fair according to your body weight, the most fair according to your skill level, and also depending on what your goals are really. So if you are looking to compete eventually on a bigger platform, then you have to see what you need to hit for that. If you want to just have longevity, then you can see what you need for that, right? Like if you want to do this forever, you could totally do this forever and literally test every single time or every single year just to make sure that you are not doing so much of one side compared to the other. Like you don't want to be biased in your training, in your food, and what we do, because that's when overtraining happens, that's when overdoing of the same movements happens, which, you know, overdoing the same thing and then is gonna create something on my shoulder or my wrist or anything like that. So I would like you to think of this as a really cool opportunity. You're not showcasing to anybody but yourself. And then at the same time, you have this whole community just supporting you and competing alongside you, right? We're not competing with each other, you're competing with yourself. And really it's more like, let's just see where we are. Like, let's see how good I am at gymnastics. If you already know you're not good at gymnastics, that already tells you you're biased, but it's good to test to see where you are, right? So it's 3 categories. We have the cardio monostructural category, and we could pick anything from that, right? But what I wanted to do, and by the way, this is gonna be a long video so that I could explain everything, but the first one is a 400-meter run. The run, that's the only pretty much run outside that we're going to do. 400 tests the capacity of a fast sprint, but also not the fastest like 100 meters, right? So that, if you think of like that level of fitness from the fastest ever to the longest marathon or ultra marathon, it's farther that way. So we were here on 400, right? That's a great test, it's not long. And then we have the 2K row to test the movement and also not to have so much stuff on your joints, but just to test a little bit of the higher endurance type of style. And then the beep test, if you guys know, is well known for a lot of sports testing. A lot of sports like soccer, basketball, even some softball do that, and a lot of officers that want to go into law enforcement or military and things like that. It's a great test because you have to be agile to move like a shuttle run, right? And then you have to try and get to that beep before the beep beats you. So it's really fun and it's all levels, and we made it very fair in terms of what we're looking to see from level 3 lower, and then what you should be looking at if you were higher levels. Okay, that's that. Then we have the gymnastics side, which is we're gonna test 1 minute max effort of everything. But max effort doesn't mean that has to be unbroken. It has to be just so that you can hit that range. And those ranges are not shown in the document because I don't want anyone to get discouraged because they don't think they can hit certain ranges and then just don't show up. I'd rather you experience it, give me feedback, give yourself feedback, and then go from there. But the ranges are pull-ups, or the movements are, the tests are pull-ups, push-ups. We have double unders because that's a great skill for body weight. As you can see, there's no burpees there because we do that a lot in the fit challenges and in the amigo comps and stuff like that. Then we have the higher skills like handstand push-up, the ring muscle up, the bar muscle up, the rope climb. And have I said anything? No. Now, if you are at a skill level that you just never want to or will do ring muscle ups and bar muscle ups, that's totally okay, right? Because remember, we want this for longevity, or if you want to compete, it's a whole different game. And so those tests are not going to count towards the overall placement of what level you're going to be. You just wouldn't be doing those. And if you, for example, are at the pull-up position, then you can modify it to still test. Just know that where you're going to be on that range is going to be on the lower side, right? But it's totally okay. Everyone could do this. All right, and then we have our weightlifting. Our weightlifting, we have so many things we could test, but the Olympic total is really cool because you test the clean and jerk and the snatch. And when you test those two movements, it's literally what our Olympic lifting type of style lifts are what we do in weightlifting. Obviously, you do partial lifts and you do a lot of strength lifts to get you better at those, but those are great to test. And then there's usually what is called the CrossFit total. That is bench, a back squat, and deadlift. But I don't feel comfortable testing bench. We don't bench as much. On our weightlifting side, we do. But a strict press is also such a great test because it tests just pure upper body strength overhead without any leg drive. And so it's gonna be a strict press instead, a back squat, and a deadlift. I went back and forth quite a bit on my back squat or overhead squat or front squat because I truly believe that front squat and overhead squat test so many amazing things, like a front rack position, so your mobility, right? The overhead test is everything: stability, flexibility, mobility, and strength. And so the thing is, I wanted to make sure that everyone was able to do it. And so with the back squat, you're expanding the opportunity for everyone to do, right? Because what if you have like a wrist injury or a shoulder injury, or you're just not able to get overhead? I want all of our members to be able to do it. So that's how this came about. Again, if you're not able to do a back squat, then we can modify for other things, and it's just you participating to see where you are. My other question was, okay, coach, what if I just know where I'm gonna place level 1? Okay, great, that is amazing, level 1, right? You still get your patch, you still get your scorecard, and then you still be able to see how close you are in two things, because maybe you'll do level 1 in some test, but then maybe level 3 in other tests. And it's like, oh wow, if I'd never tested like this, I would never really see the ranges that I'm in. And maybe in some of them, you'll be like a level 5, and like, wow, I'm a really good runner, right? Okay, let's get you a little bit stronger if that's something that you want to achieve. This also allows for no false reinforcement of like, okay, I'm really good at this, and then so I'm just gonna do this, and then I'm gonna get here in 1 year. And maybe you will, and some of us might not. It might take us a lot more than that. And it's not to discourage you, but it's to show you that now if you want to utilize CrossFit as a sport, you're going to need to specifically train like it's a sport. It's not gonna be your strength and conditioning type of workouts every day that you can do for life. It's gonna be, okay, well, I have to get really, really good at this skill, and I have to get really, really strong here. And that is really a different approach that you would talk to me about, and we could totally do that, and I love to do that, and I've done that for myself, but also for a lot of athletes. But it's very different approach. And so with this testing, one level is, like I put it on the descriptions, right? It's like you're just excited, you're doing all these things, you have new shoes, you're buying new shoes perhaps, you're learning new skills, you're learning the lingo. And then level 5, if you're able to get to level 5, you could compete regionally. You could do some damage in the CrossFit sport, in the sport of CrossFit. Now, when you do that, that's not gonna be a forever thing. It's not gonna be sustainable for a lot of years, right? Because we all have to work, we have families, things like that. So eventually your focus might change, but it's totally okay. Maybe you are a level 1 type of training for a while, and then maybe, you know what, I'm gonna get to my level 3 so that I can actually sustain. And then, you know what, forever I'll be level 2, and that's okay, but I'm gonna be healthier, I'm gonna be happy, I'm gonna be able to train and lift with my friends, and I'm gonna be able to continue this forever, and I'm not gonna get bored because there's always something changing, and I'm still PRing, I'm still progressing, I'm still getting better. My markers on my health, on my physicals are getting better. My cholesterol's still down. My diabetes, I have, I'm not taking as much medicine. You can think of those goals it becomes more than 15 tests to be level 1 or level 5. And I hope you guys can understand what that means, because that's the overall approach of what we want to do at DRS, right? We build better people, we build safer people, and we develop real things that you could keep in your pocket for reals, not just a fad or not just a phase. And again, if you want to get to that competition phase, absolutely, I will help you. And that's why we have those levels. So it's pretty cool to see. Also, a lot of you guys are wondering how we place into our levels. The lowest your placement is what your level is going to be. So you need to score on that same level across all 15 tests. And we did it that way for it to be the fairest and the easiest to track and to progress and to level up. Or if you're really high, to level down and keep consistent and things like that. Because we do this twice a year. We're gonna try that this year, February and then November before the holidays start. And it keeps us accountable, right? It keep us at it. Because if not, it's like, oh, well, summer's here. Okay, let's really go after it in April for the Fit Challenge. That is awesome, but we don't have to wait that long. And then also, we don't have to, after October, Amigo Comp, well, okay, and then not October, November, December, nothing's really happening, even though you guys were still coming in here and training. But then it just keeps kind of like, no pressure, but it keeps you motivated to stay pretty good with yourself in terms of shape without having to feel like you're competing, but it just keeps you on it, right? So that way you don't have too much time passing before the next thing. But I hope I answer a lot of the questions. Any other questions, I'll answer them on Saturday. And I'm super, super excited. This has taken quite a bit of time to formulate and have a lot of rough drafts. And believe me that I made sure that everyone's going to be successful. There's not like I'm trying to fail you or you're not gonna pass. No, it's not that kind of testing. It is not a type of workout or a type of benchmark workout, because we test those more for a Fit Challenge and we test those more for Amigo Comps and stuff like that. These are just testing that allow us to see where we are in different categories, and by putting all the categories together, it allows me to see how well rounded you are in CrossFit, in the fitness area, in the sport of CrossFit as well, if that's something that you want to do. And also it allows me to see how we could contain and sustain this longevity type of training and continue to adjust and evolve, so that less risk of injury, better health, better fitness, overall happiness, good balance, and everything that comes with that. Thank you. Let's go. See you Saturday.